What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction, and in this one we have Amsterdam just got awesome. Amsterdam is already an amazing city. I feel like so many people travel to Amsterdam for holidays, for vacations, for stag do's, for so many reasons. So it's already an awesome. How does it get awesomer? We're going to find out. Before we do, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and let's dive in.
When we moved to Amsterdam in 2018, Amsterdam Centraal was under construction. In fact, it seemed like Amsterdam Centraal was always under construction. Now, I generally try not to go to the center of Amsterdam very often because it's basically Disneyland and yet also has too many cars somehow. But I often go to Amsterdam Centraal to catch a train, and so I've had to navigate construction projects many times over the past few years. But now, finally, this construction is almost complete, and a few days ago, the most impressive part just opened up to the public.
Is that like a train station?
There's been a lot of work done to the area around the Amsterdam Central Station in the past decade. Back in 2015, a much-delayed project opened that made significant improvements to the station. Most importantly, getting rid of this road that cut off the station from the waterfront. Instead of a busy road, there's now a shared space for people walking and cycling, which mostly works, though tourists do sometimes have trouble figuring it out. The road now goes under the station. And there's a spacious new area for buses on top that's much more accessible if you're transferring to or from a train. And they even have this cool hardware for charging electric buses while they wait.
That's so freaking fire,
The bus station
bro.
used to be here at the front of the station where this whole area was a sea of asphalt. Another great addition was this tunnel for walking and cycling that allows easy access through the station to the ferry terminal at the back. I used to take this tunnel fairly regularly when I was working out of an office in Noord. That is, if I wasn't taking the M52 metro that day, another great project that opened in 2018. Connecting the north side of Amsterdam to the rest of the city with rapid transit for the first time. The metro station itself
Amsterdam got the infrastructure on the way. Amsterdam trying to make everybody life more convenient, trying to make everybody life more efficient, and then overall just trying to make everybody life easier, better. I love it.
Really spacious and modern, and it's a pleasure to ride, though I am surprised that the metros come only every 6 minutes. That seems really infrequent for such a modern metro line, and I hope they increase frequency in the future.
Every 6 minutes?
There are plans to extend this line to Schiphol Airport in order to divert passengers from the busy train system and allow more trains to run through Amsterdam Zuid, a station which is also seeing insane amounts of construction, but that will have to be a topic for a future video. Back to Amsterdam Centraal. The area in front of the station is much nicer these days, with a very large pedestrianized plaza directly outside the station, and with this new entrance to the metro. There are several tram stops here too that can take you all over the city. Incidentally, I really appreciate how well trams fit into an area like this. There's no other form of surface transit that is so compatible with pedestrian areas, and it's one of the many reasons I love trams so much. The fact that trams are on tracks makes them predictable, so people aren't scared to walk here, and it makes the area completely level, so it's still pleasant to walk. And doesn't provide any obstacles for wheelchairs or mobility scooters either. You really can't get this kind of shared environment with any other form of mass transit. This wouldn't work as well with buses, and you sure as hell can't do this with cars.
Yeah, we putting the bridges under this central station. We put the roads, the roads under the central station, so cars are good. We added more space for the buses to come along. We got trams going through. We got plenty of space for bikers. We got plenty of space for the pedestrians walking, and everybody can share this space so easily. Like, dang.
While there's been a lot of construction in this area over the past decades, the results have definitely been worth it, but this new project takes it to another level. I mentioned earlier that the bus station used to be in front of the station. This made the front of the station very busy with cars and buses, making the path treacherous for people walking.
I feel that.
One of the really nice parts about this latest project is the amount of asphalt has been reduced. As I mentioned, the buses are now at the back, but the road here is also narrower and has much less motor vehicle traffic. But most importantly, this was done by increasing the size of the water in front of the station. You can see from these aerial images how the space devoted to asphalt has been turned into more space for water and boats. This makes the area in front of the station feel much larger and more inviting, because one of the best things a city can do is to remove asphalt. One of the glaring problems with Amsterdam Centraal, however, is the bicycle parking. Many years ago, this ugly thing called the Fietsvlot was built to park bicycles in a kind of outdoor bicycle parking garage. This works okay, but it really doesn't look that great. The Fietsvlot was built into
so many bikes, bro. Like, when you can't find a parking space for a bike, you know you're definitely in a country where biking is the main source of transportation. That's
2001 and was supposed to be a temporary solution until 2004, but it's still here today. And it's now well over capacity, so the area in front of the station was littered with bicycles, and the area behind the station too. In the Netherlands, almost 50% of train passengers arrive on bicycle, and this station is no exception. But that means that there have to be enough parking spaces for all those bicycles.
Yes!
Of course, anybody that doesn't arrive at the station by car is an improvement, so the bike parking has really been a victim of its own success. But this is really not good enough for the busiest and most important train station in Amsterdam.
Nah, you gotta get more
For
spaces.
example, at Amsterdam Zuid, the third busiest station, there are 1, 2, 3 underground parking garages. And
see, that's a lot better. They gotta get more stations for that. And I know they done did a lot of infrastructure already to make life more efficient, more convenient, make everybody's life better. But that's the next thing. Because it's just bikes stacked on top, like, not in an actual parking spot, just stacked on top of each other, just draped over each other. This looks good.
This last one, opened in 2018, is absolutely stunning.
Yes.
I use it on a regular basis, even though the other 2 garages are technically closer to the station. So when you see parking like that, you can understand why this janky metal structure needed to be replaced, and thankfully, it has been. With 2 beautiful new bicycle parking garages.
They already fixed the issue. So I was like, they need to fix. They already done fixed it, and this is absolutely gorgeous. Bro, Amsterdam, I see how you got awesomer. Amsterdam is absolutely on the up and up, and it was already a great freaking city.
The first and most impressive opened up just a few days ago, an underground bicycle parking garage in front of the station.
Dang.
Actually, underground is not really correct here, as it's actually underwater. This area, which used to be the busy road and bus station, is now mostly water, and the garage was built under it. I was invited to tour the garage with press the day before it opened to the public. It was nice to go from being kicked out for filming to being toured around and offered champagne. Yep, I finally made it to the big time.
Yeah, you did.
They also had these cakes with a fish riding a bicycle, perfect for an underwater bicycle parking garage. Mark from Bicycle Dutch was invited too, so you'll see him in some of my shots. Be sure to check out his detailed review of this parking garage on his channel, link in the description. And Chris from Modacity was here too. There were some speeches by politicians, some important people got interviewed, but anyway, on to more important things. The entrance to this new garage is wide and spacious, with multiple travelators to bring you and your bike down under the fishes. This is great because this garage is actually quite deep underwater, and it would be a pain to have to walk in and out of it with your bike. Bicycle parking facilities are only worth building if people actually use them. They have to be as easily accessible as possible, otherwise people will just leave their bicycles parked on the surface instead.
Agreed.
So at the back of the garage, there's an escalator that goes up here, and it connects directly to the metro station and train station here. So this can be even faster than parking on the surface. And in case you're wondering, no, Amsterdam doesn't build underground garages where you can ride your bike into them, because the city believes that they're too dangerous after a fatal accident at this one.
Oh, wow.
One thing to note, though, is that there's no cover over this entrance. I was told this was done to maintain the views of the historic station. However, these roll pads, as they're called in Dutch, get quite slippery when they're wet, so most other garages have a cover and warning signs like this. It does make me wonder if this new garage will be a slip and slide when it rains. When you enter the garage, there are these fare gates where you can tap your public transit card or bank card. As with most bicycle parking garages in the Netherlands, the first 24 hours is free, and then it's usually €1 and change for every day after that. Though I noticed that the price isn't mentioned on the signage, which is a bit weird because it is at other garages in the city.
Yeah, because you gotta let me know, because don't be trying to make it more expensive than it need to be without me knowing. If you say €3 a day after 24 hours, I need to see it on the side. If not, it's gonna be a problem. But yeah, it would be nice for sure to have that on the sign, the pricing. Because other than that, you just don't know.
Space to park up to 7,000 bicycles in this garage, which makes it the largest in Amsterdam, but not the largest in the Netherlands. That title still goes to the one at Utrecht. As an irrelevant aside, for bicycle parking, instead of saying garage, as is done for cars, the Dutch use the word stalling, which literally translates as stabling, like what is done for horses. I wish we would call these bicycle stables in English too. It's way more fun. The rows have these LED lights that show how full a given row is, and these lights won't all be green for long. Every row is labeled with a number so you can remember where you parked, though curiously, the racks themselves are not numbered like they are in most other Dutch bicycle garages. What is typical though is that bicycles can be parked 2 levels high, and the upper racks are spring-loaded to make it easy to lift your bicycle up. There are sections with slightly larger racks too where bicycles with crates can be parked, though one glaring omission is that larger bicycles such as cargo bikes aren't allowed to park in this garage. So I'm not entirely sure where you're supposed to park a bakfiets at Amsterdam Centraal now. The staff just told me there will be an area on the east side. This seems pretty typical in Amsterdam, unfortunately. The relatively new parking garage at the Beursplein was also not built to allow cargo bikes. So they recently created this little area at the back where you can park a few bakfiets and outside. And at Amsterdam Zuid, only one of the 3 parking garages allows for bakfiets parking. What is accounted for is OV-fiets, the public bicycles that can be rented by the day from most train stations in the Netherlands.
That's so nice.
Eventually, this whole open area will be full of rental bikes. These are fantastic when you're visiting a city by train but need to get around by bicycle when you get there. I've used them many times in other cities, and I should probably make a video about them someday. And there's also a bike shop in case you need some repairs done to your bike, or need to pick up some parts or accessories. I went back to this...
Bro, this station got everything. Again, to go back to the beginning, you got buses, you got trams, you got plenty of space for people to walk, plenty of space for people to bike. Now you got plenty of space for people to park their bikes. Now you make it easy for them to enter the station by parking their bikes underground. It's like, dude, now you got a repair shop, I guess, or store parts for your bike. You can repair everything you could think of. This station's got now.
Parking garage on the first weekend that it was open, and with so many people, I noticed just how annoying these automated travelator warnings are. Inside the garage, there were lots of people taking pictures and video. This has become the newest Amsterdam tourist attraction. So it goes without saying that this garage, bicycle stable, is stunningly beautiful. It's obvious that a lot of time, effort, and money has gone into designing it. This bicycle parking isn't an afterthought. It's not some small dark corner where they decided to stuff in some bicycle racks like you'll find in so many other countries. People may ask, how can they afford all this stuff? But the real question is, how can other cities afford not to? Cycling is considered to be first-class infrastructure here because Amsterdam recognizes that every single person who shows up to the train station by bicycle is ultimately saving the city money, and so it's encouraged as much as possible. by being inviting, functional, but also beautiful.
This is so
That
awesome.
bicycle shop I mentioned has this glass wall, where every square is a famous painting by Dutch artists. And one wall of the garage is old maps of Amsterdam, starting from about 1,000 years ago and continuing to the present day. They are also made up of paintings. At the back of the garage are these sculptures, which were designed in the 1960s. They were preserved from a demolished building, but they fit right in. And the roof of the garage has these huge circular lights that document the nautical history of the Netherlands through historical paintings. It's nice that infrastructure projects in the Netherlands almost always have an art budget. That tunnel through the station that I showed earlier also has this artwork on the walls, and I love this so much. There's so many other cities I've lived in where public projects are designed as cheaply as possible, with little or no thought as to how they'll actually look. I am convinced that traveling through horribly ugly places on a regular basis takes a toll on your mental health. And car infrastructure is inherently ugly and dehumanizing.
He said, I mean, basically, man, traveling through the U.S. take a toll on your mental health, because that's how we got this car infrastructure. We don't got the infrastructure for bikes, infrastructure for pedestrians. In some cities, you got good public transport, but I feel like in most places, not really. It's just you gotta have a car. So I feel like you take the shots, but understandable.
I strongly believe that there are benefits to society for people to be regularly traveling to, from, and through places that are beautiful. And I'm glad to live in a country that appreciates that too.
I respect that.
So that's the first garage, and it's definitely impressive. But there's actually a second bicycle parking garage that's still under construction that will open in a few weeks. This second bicycle parking garage is underground, not underwater, located behind the station on the riverside. This is great for people approaching from the north side and the ferries across the river. It's quite a bit simpler than the garage at the front of the station. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still really nice, but it's not all full of fancy artwork either.
Got you.
There's no travelator here, so you have to bring your bike up the stairs like a goddamned animal. But then this garage isn't very far underground, so it's not very difficult either.
Animal.
The building follows the curve of the river, which makes it quite a bit more visually interesting than a rectangular box. But since there are just several long rows, the sections are labeled with words instead of row numbers. And each rack is labeled to help you find your bicycle when you return.
Nice.
And they were also playing music in here for some reason. Some Gangnam Style.
You gotta have music in the bike station. You got to have music playing constantly, right? Got to make it enjoyable with the music.
While you park your bicycle. This garage is a great use of the long, narrow space behind the station, and I'm really looking forward to it opening, so that maybe, just maybe, we can get a few years without construction at Amsterdam Centraal. That is, until the next time they decide to make it even awesomer.
Oh, everything.
If you'd like to see more about these parking garages, be sure to check out the video that Bicycle Dutch put together, as he's seen a lot more of them than I have. And if you'd like more Not Just Bikes content, consider subscribing to Nebula. I assume you've heard of Nebula before.
I'm gonna skip the sponsor, but that was a freaking great video. I feel like that. Let me make sure I'm not gonna miss it. Yes, Amsterdam. What y'all did to the Centraal station, that was absolutely incredible. I know the citizens of Amsterdam have to be absolutely overjoyed, and anybody who commutes to or from Amsterdam has to be overjoyed with this. This feels like this just makes life a lot better for you guys. Y'all talk to me in the comment section. Tell me how you feel. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and check out the next one. I'll see y'all next time.